here would just be some advice just related to this process. The only danger about going out to get quotes or get some ideas is that it's a project that really takes bidding. And so if you go out to get some ideas or some quotes, you kind of, and then if those numbers are public at all, really there is could be some issue with that company saying, well, gosh, I gave you the quote, and now you've let that number out, and now everybody's going to be bidding to my quote. And when you get big projects, that's a little bit of the tough part. The part is that you have to know a lot about what you want up front. So it might be that you're going to have to eliminate what you don't want. In other words, here's the kind of roof that we don't want, or the two kinds that we don't. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. But we're now going to be well past that $60,000 mark for a single project. And so you really have to be very cautious about the procedures that are used. And I just don't want in a month or two there to be some issue with whoever came to take a look at it saying, okay, now that was, you talked about that at the July board meeting, now everybody's bidding to that quote or that estimate.
Well, that's kind of what I liked about Garland Roofing, or a company like that. They put on every different kind of roof, or subcontract through every different kind of roof. I know he didn't come off very well. I'm not saying that we should have him come again, but somebody like him that just gives us all the options again would be good before you go talk to a specific roof.
Well, but if somebody comes in, if Andrews comes in and bids their type of roof, and somebody else comes in and bids their type of roof, it would be up to the board to decide which type of roof to go with, wouldn't it?
Right. But what Barb's trying to say is then too is that now all of a sudden if we've got a foam roof and a rubber roof and a slope roof, and then everybody came in and said one's $250, one's $350, one's $500,000, then we said, okay, we're going to go with the rubber roof. Well, then his bid's already out there, so we got to get another guy.
With a rubber roof.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, honestly, you have to for the auditor or whatever. You have to get two bids. So now all of a sudden, the guy that stuck his neck out the first time has to and I'm fine with that. I mean, have him rebid again, but you have to give him at least the opportunity to rebid again. You can't just...
Which is what they probably have to do all the time.
Probably. But...
Well, I'm hearing here that we're talking, yes, you prefer slope roof, we can't afford it, or...
Well, we can afford it, I think. I mean, originally they were talking $650. That was, but who knows if those prices were right now.
And that's the last time it was almost $900.
I don't remember 900. I remember 650.
If you slope it, what will it be covered with?
10.
10?
Yeah, steel. Steel. And the other thing we talked about that was discussed, there are certainly easier areas on this school to slope it versus harder areas. Well, the biggest problem moving all the stuff in the fire marshal was, I believe, was above the classroom stuff, because there's ventilation and air conditioning. There's something above here, where on the, like above the locker rooms and above the gym, there's nothing. It's just a flat roof. Now, that would be certainly an area where you probably get a bigger bang for your buck for putting a slope roof on and never have to deal with that ever again, because you wouldn't have to deal with as many other things. I'm fine with putting slope roof on the whole damn thing, but only because, again, once you do it, you don't have to talk about it. What's that?
We hadn't lived out here for the last 4 years, and you know.
But anyway, that's my opinion, and I'm just one guy. So.
Well, we didn't want to spend $50,000–$60,000 for a parking lot over at the middle school, but we're going to spend $800,000–$900,000 for a roof, and
there's lots of different logic there. A parking lot would be covering up rocks. Roof's covering up what we're sitting on right now.
I guess I'd like to see some bids from, like, Andrews Roofing and some of, you know, the type of roof that we have on here now, and see what they can give you for guarantees. And I don't know, we could go with the foam and the urethane, whatever, too, if that's what you want to look at. Without going through fire marshal and everything, I think that might at least take care of us for a long time.
If you get two bids from each kind, then you can make your decision.
Yep. We can find a company. And I'll bet we can with, you know, as much roofing that's been done around here on commercial buildings and stuff like that. That should be easy enough to find enough contractors to do it. Can we help you by finding names, or can we help by finding names of companies?
Oh, possibly. I'd say that probably there have been enough roofs on either like the middle school or buildings in the south end of the district that we could come up with something to get stuck. We could get a hold of you. ISB has some lists of roofing companies. So really what you're looking for is anything other than a sloped roof. Is that what you're, the rest of the board saying,
Or were you saying 2 bids of what we already have and then 2 bids of slopes?
And 2 bids of foam.
Well, you won't be able to get a slope growth, don't be an architect, that's the
Oh,
problem.
okay, okay.
And the fire
2
marshal
bids
and
of
everything
foam.
else. We were talking about 2 bids of the foam and 2 bids with whatever
Okay.
this is. Does that make sense?
It's a starting point. What do you think?
They make the decision.
That's fine.
Does that help? A little bit. Does that help?
We'll figure it out.
Okay, we've taken up enough of decent talking time.
I'm not glad you
I'm not going.
You're going.
No.
No, it's done.
Yeah.
Are we good with action on to Wall Lake?
yeah, I'm assuming then the other projects are sitting for right now. Wall Lake, the other, really all the projects are moving forward except for the family consumer science project. And there's still no communication from that office. About a month ago, they communicated with the architect. He answered 3 or 4 or 5 questions, fired that back, and he got it, and he hasn't heard anything. I emailed him Monday of last week, a week ago today, and he just said, I just said, I'm sure you would have let me know if you would have heard from the fire marshal's office. And he said, I haven't heard anything. I hope to hear soon. And he apologized, but it's not his deal. So, but everything else, projects that you'd already approved are all well on their way, and some are being completed. So I'd say at the July board meeting, there'll be some more updating of some additional projects will be completed. So that would be it.
Okay.